Hi, I'm Anne Marie Mitchell, and this is my model, Tatum, that is joining us today. Tatum is a cosmetologist, and she's one of my best clients, but she also is a farm girl, and she got off of a combine, which for those of you who don't know farming, is a large tractor cutting corn, to come here and do this for me today. So we live in a small rural area, and one of the big draws to me to join Blushington Academy is to get the training and the knowledge. I've done makeup forever, but I wanted the extra training, and it just it helped me realize that you can live in small town USA and still be a successful makeup artist. So that's where we're located, and we're going to give you a little peek into our world. So prior to our session today, we've done the 111 Skin Mask on Tatum for skin prep, which gives you an excellent glowing look. Lots of red carpet celebrities use this before the red carpet events, and it just plumps the skin, looks amazing, and we have that available on our Blushington site. We've also done a lip prep for her with the Sarah Happ lip scrub. She scrubbed the lips, and then in just a little bit, I will put the Sarah Happ lip scrub or lip slip, which is part of my lip prep that I do anytime I do anyone's makeup and my own every day. I use the lip slip while I'm doing my facial prep for makeup application, and it just makes your lips feel amazing. I use it at bedtime, I use it during makeup sessions, I use it during the day, but it's phenomenal. So you'll see me use this here in a minute after we prep her skin. So we're going to start today by using one of the best overall for makeup artist application moisturizers. I hope you can see that. It looks a little bright, but it's the Embryolislet. And also, anytime that I'm putting on a product, if this is something that you're wanting, Joseph will be dropping a link for it to go to Blushington in the chat. So this is the Embryolislet Cream Concentrate moisturizer, and we're going to start with that today and get her face good and prepped with a moisturizer. I always like to use a brush when I use moisturizer when I'm doing a client, so that I can smooth it out and put it all over where I need it. Make sure I get some under her eyes. This is a great moisturizer that can be used for many other things as well. It even can be used as a cleansing balm, but it feels fabulous on the skin. Today, as I do the makeup, I'm going to be doing the eyes first, which is something that I never really did prior to going to Blushington Academy. I always did my foundation first. But after while we were attending, a lot of the times we would do just our eyes, and it just made me realize that how easy it is to then not have any fallout, not have to do any corrections, to do your eyes first. Sometimes it looks a little crazy because you do not have your face completely on, but it always is beneficial, because then you can use your concealer and do some special tricks that I'll show you when we do the eyes. So now that we've got her her moisturizer on, I'm going to do the Lawless Set the Stage primer, and this is also on Blushington. There you can see it. It is a hydrating primer, and I'm in love with this primer. It has worked so well for me since we got it on our site. It is phenomenal. Also, another benefit, especially as a makeup artist, if you're doing a client, and you're not sure what their skin type is, and they think that they know, but sometimes their skin type they may not actually have dry skin. They think that they have dry, or they may not actually have oily skin. They think that, but they have over scrubbed it and it just continues to produce oil, so they're really not oily. Or someone might be extra dry and you might need a little more moisture before you put on the foundation. Or they may actually be oily and you might need to blot off some of the excess moisture and maybe use a setting spray on a sponge to do that prior to doing their makeup. So there's all those factors that contribute to what's the best way to prep skin for your makeup look. If you do the prep, then do your eyes, then when you come back to do your foundation, then you're going to know immediately what the reaction was to your skin prep, and make sure that you've done exactly what was needed to do. Now we're going to put on the Sarah Hat Lip Slip, which I'm telling you, this is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. I've been addicted to it since we started. I'd never heard of it, and now I have 3 at all times. I just reordered another one for the one beside my bed. And a lot of my clients, when I go to have them wipe it off or any excess before we do their lipstick, they're like, oh, do I have to? It's so good. This is the Sarah Hat Lip Slip. Doesn't it feel awesome? It really does.
Feels like silk.
Mm-hmm. Next thing we're going to do is we are going to, the Kevin Aquan Glass Glow is something that adds an extra highlight under your foundation. So it's kind of like an underlighting. So if the powder highlight that you put on at the end of the day or at the end of your makeup session, that seems to be the last thing that I do, is I will put the highlight on very last thing before we do a setting spray. But what I found is if you use an underlighting product, sometimes you don't even need to use a highlighter at the end, but also powders dissipate and they soak into the skin. If you had a long night, a wedding reception, and you were going to be out super late, the highlight might soak into your skin, where this is going to do it from underneath. So I'm going to put a little highlight, and you'll be able to see the little bit of shimmer. And if you can see the little iridescence to it, but I'm going to put it on the high points of her face. So the high points where light would hit would be the cheekbones, you can always look in the natural light, or if you're in front of your makeup mirror, and you would see where the actual light hits the face normally. Hope you can see that shimmer on there. I can see it really good. Tiny here.
It's a really deep opal.
Yeah, it looks kind of opalescent to it. I'm gonna put a little here, get the fullness, and just a tad right here. And it's blended in. You can kind of see the sheen. It also makes a drier foundation, like an oil-free foundation, have much more of a moisturized, dewy finish if you put it all over your face. I like to only use it on the high points, but I have done it on myself all over, and it just makes a drier foundation look more of a, like more supple and more emollient. You can see on my hand there. All right, now I'm going to put the Anastasia Beverly Hills Eye Primer, but this is more of a white color. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix it with, it's a lighter color than what I want it to be. So I'm going to mix it with a little bit of my concealer. that I will use in a little bit so that the color is closer to the base that I want on her eyes for the shadow base. Many people do not use a shadow base that have come to me. They have no idea that they're even supposed to do this. But what it does is it actually makes the correct kind of surface and will let your shadows stick and stay and not fade.
I've actually never done this until you done my makeup.
Mm-hmm.
It makes a huge difference.
Everything stays in place.
It just makes your eyeshadow pop so much more.
It does. Okay, open your eye and look up.
Heather and Chelsea were talking about this at the salon too.
Mm-hmm. It just does. It just makes such a difference. And I do it under the eye because I know that in this makeup application, I am going to put some shadow under her eye. So, of course, any place that you want that to be set, that's what you do. So, of course, it looks a little silly in the beginning.
Yes, it does.
Yes, it does. And I'm going to start with my most loved product from my kit. This came in my Blushington Academy kit, and you can tell it has been loved. And anyone that's taken a class from me or that I've applied makeup for them for an event, this palette has definitely been used in some way, shape, or form during their makeup experience. And I can honestly say I use it every single day on myself. So this one is one that I would recommend for everybody to have in their collection. Something also that I did not mention is the Blushington Academy in their kit. When I began, I'd always spent a fortune on brushes, but I would just get, oh, that brush looks good, and I would get an individual, and I would pay $30 for an individual brush. We got this entire kit of brushes in the kit whenever we started, and I have used them religiously ever since. So every brush that I will use today is in the Academy kit or in the Delium kit online, and you can get all of the brushes for $110 and you get the full set. So it's very helpful, very useful, and I highly recommend it. So I'll tell you the numbers that I am using as we go. I use on the shadow primer, the 775 brush, just a little flatter brush. For the skin prep application, I use the 948. And then now I'm going to be using my favorite brush in the kit, which is the 785 brush, which is your fluffy eyeshadow brush. And I absolutely love it. And I use it in multiple ways. So I'm going to start with, I think I'll start with burnt orange. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to, a lot of people think, and I always did too, whenever I did eyeshadow growing up, you put the light color all over your eyes and then you just put color in the crease. And that was just how it was supposed to be done. But the truth is you want to build the shape of the eye with a transition color. And I usually choose either this color, because if you have any greens or a bluish cast, or even I think it pulls out some goldens, but this color is great for a transition color. And I shape, and if you had hooded eyes, for example, mine are a little more hooded, and I do this up above my crease where the hoodedness is, and it will literally push back that part of your eye so that it gives a visual effect, because you put on dark, it goes back. Put light, it brings it forward. Okay, so open your eye and you can see the difference. See how this, if I would have put a full light eyeshadow, like the primer that's on there all over her eye, and she has her eyes open, see the difference of defining the eye? So, and this is just the transition color. And a lot of times you won't even see this transition color when it's all said and done, but it's still there. It does the shaping of the eye, and it does exactly what we want it to do as far as giving the dimension to your eyelid. So I like to do it just above the crease. I usually bring it down onto the side. Okay, so open your eye and look up. So for Tatum, she has beautiful eyes. Her eye color is, she has green in it. I see flecks of gold. Sometimes I see brown. So I like to pick up all the different shades of what will bring out all the different colors in her eyes. And I'm just, again, using this. I like to pull the color that, all the colors that I'm using up above, if they're a defining color, something I'm going to use in a crease or one of the darker shades, I will give some dimension under the eye as well. Okay. The same brush, the next thing I'm going to do is, green eyes love purples. Purples are what makes it pop. And I actually have part of that on my eye. I'm doing a little different on her today, but I will take the Dusty Rose in this palette, and I'm just going to go right in the crease with the Dusty Rose. Bringing a little bit out to the side. Okay, now open and turn toward them. And I don't know if you can see the light, maybe a little bright, but it just gives an added slight dimension at the base of that orange, burnt orange color. Okay, now open your eye and see. And you can see how it gives it just even more dimension. And you can still see a little bit of the burnt orange as well, but just adding it right in the crease and blending it out. And this purple color, the Dusty Rose, I say, it's not really a purple, it's Dusty Rose, I guess, kind of a mauvish color. Just that little bit makes a huge difference. So you can kind of see the look coming together, and then open your eye and look up. I'm going to dust it a little bit down here at the bottom. I think I'm going to switch to the 777 brush for that. The 777 brush, as you can see, is a more compact brush. And I use this, I'm going to use this to add some more deeper colors, but the more dense your brush is the more product placement, the more to put it specifically where you want it. You want a dense brush like this. This one is the blending brush, so you can always blend after each step, because you don't want anyone to look at your eye and see every single color that you have put on the eye. You want it to just know that it looks good, but not be able to say, oh, I count that she has 5 different colors that she's used on her eye. For this one, I'm going to go into the Jouer Essentials palette, and it's got some great browns. The pigments in these are very, very intense. Anastasia's are intense as well, but these are very intense. So I think I'm going to pick up some brown. This color is going to be, I'm going to use dark chocolate and cafe. Take a little of each. I'm going to test it here on my hand, my shiny hand from the product, from my Kevin Aquan product. And then I'm going to place it outer edge. to deepen it. And then I take that same brush that I've used the other products with, and I'm going to blend so that there's no definite lines, blending it in. This side, and we'll go under. Okay. I feel like we need to have music on. It's quiet in here. And then blend. Okay, then open the eye and look up. And if you notice, I don't have to be super, super careful when I'm putting the shadows underneath, because again, we haven't done our foundation yet. We haven't done our concealer. So we can dust this off, wipe it off, super simple. And we don't have to go into correcting. Straight ahead. That's good. Then I'm going to take the 542 brush. I told you I use every brush in this kit. And right on the inner corner of her lid close, I'm going to put Tempura, which is this color. On the lid, the inner lid. Close, and then a little blending. Okay. Next product that I cannot live without is this Stila smudge sticks. I'm going to use 2 of them today. This is a trick that even if you just want to just put something simple on your eyes, throw a little mascara, little colored moisturizer, and just run to the store or whatever, this helps make your eye, it completes the upper lash line. And I'll show you how I'm going to do that on Tatum. So look down, or open your eye, but look down with your eyeball. That way you don't feel it. Just gonna take it and go right below her lashes. And you can see the difference already, how you can see these lashes, but you don't see those lashes yet. And I haven't done any lashes. So I usually do that. It's called tight lining, right under the lash line. And what that does also is it prevents you from seeing the skin that shows under your lashes. Once we put the mascara on, you don't see it any longer. So then for the bottom on the waterline, I'm going to put Lionfish. Lionfish is a color. This hand has all kinds of goodies on it. It's kind of a metallic, brownish, bronzish, but it is a perfect color to set off your under eye without having to do it in a black. Now you could do the Stingray, which is the color that I had in the black one. It's called Stingray, but can you see the difference? So this one just kind of sets the bottom. It enforces the, what should I say? It makes the powder shadows that I put underneath, it just makes them pop. And this will pick up her golden colors that she has in her eye.
I really like the brown
I do too.
better than the black underneath.
It doesn't look as harsh when you do
Yeah.
the brown underneath. Okay, so now, normally if I was not going to do lashes, I would do, to do the winged liner, I would do the Stila Smudge Pot and do it with the liner brush. But we're gonna throw on lashes today for our everyday glam. So for this, I'm going to do double duty, and I'm going to use the Kamara Strength Unique lash glue to place the lashes. But a trick before I place the lashes, this is a pageant trick that I know from doing many pageant girls in the past, is if you take I take the black from this kit by Jouer. You take the black eyeshadow and go along the base of these lashes and deepen it just along the base. It will intensify the base of those lashes, and it kind of disguises the band. If there is a band, even if it's invisible, it kind of just blends it in together. So I like to do that, and then it just makes the lashes pop even more. Another thing that I do is I take my lash and I wrap it around my mascara bottle. While I'm putting the glue on, so that they get a nice rounded shape.
I feel like putting lashes on is impossible for some people, though. Some people being me.
Well, I can do it much better on other people than I can myself.
Yeah.
I think that it's easier when you've got two hands working on it and you're not trying to do it with one eye. So I wrap it around there so it keeps the natural curve, kind of gives it a little more curve and shape while I'm putting the liner on. So since I'm doing the adhesive liner, I'm taking out a step of having to line the eyes, then put glue on the lashes, let the lash glue dry. It's doing it all in one step. So I'm going to start with I'll start with the right one. And I usually will do a small line, really, really close to the lash line. Before I do my wing, because you have to have a wing with Everyday Glam. And then I come back over and I'll do another. Okay, open your eye. Let's see where I want to do the wing. Okay, close. And Tatum has great eyes to do lashes. I usually start, everyone has their different ways that they do it, but I like to start my lash because I feel like the biggest place that it bothers people is on the inner corner as opposed to the outer corner. So I like to place it, the inner corner where I want it to be first so that it doesn't end up too far in the inner corner of the eye. Okay, open. Now let's see. We'll blend that with her own lashes in just a sec. Tatum's gonna go back and drive a tractor with this glam when she leaves here. I'm using the Ardell Demi Wispies on her eyes today, but we have some amazing, we have those on the site. We also have some amazing, if you're a lash girl and you do use lashes often, we have the Kamara A Unique. They're great quality lashes that can be reused over and over again on our site. Okay, open. They pokey anywhere? They feel good? Okay, now we're gonna add a little bit of mascara to blend her own lashes. Go down that corner. There you go. I'm going to touch on the bottom. Again, here's another reason why not doing that foundation first can make such a difference. Move slowly and look more straight ahead. So there you go. I love the Demi Wispy because they're kind of tapered. They're not as long on the, open your eye, look up, on the inside, and they gradually get a little bit longer. The Wispies are more of my favorites as well, but perfect. Looks good. So you want to lean forward a little bit and let me make sure this left eye is not coming off. Yep, it's good. And you can see when she closes her eyes how she's got a gradual shade. You can't see that she's got the burnt orange and the plum or all of those different colors. We've blended it all really well. So here's another trick that I'm gonna show you when we go to do foundation. So if you're a makeup artist, this will benefit you. This is messy, I've got to redo it, but I take, and I've got about 10 more I need to add, but I take my little tiny swatches of all of the foundation colors that I have in my kit. And if I'm going to do a wedding and I've got boom, 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 one after the other, this helps me so much because I can take this clear palette and I can hold it up to the face and I can know specifically what color palette it's going to work. And depending what her skin type is, whether I'm going to use a cream or whether I'm going to use an oil-free, and I've got my little codes that I know. So I'm able to match the skin without having to put the swatches on and messing up the skin prep that we did in the beginning. So just a little tip that I've found very helpful, especially if you're having to bust clients out one after the other and you don't want to have to do a lot of different swatching. This makes it really, really easy for you. So today we're going to use the Becca 24-Hour Foundation. Now, if you have ever used, if you have ever used the Becca foundation before, you know how wonderful it is. Well, Becca is going out of business, sadly. We have some of her products still left on our site. So this is already marked down from $44 per bottle. And I can tell you I've stocked up because this is so good for long wear makeup, for weddings and prom, etc. It's marked down on our site for $17.40, I think, and you are going to get an extra discount code at the end of this that you could really save even more. So it will be basically, it will be less than drugstore product for foundation. So I use 2 colors when I'm doing foundation most of the time, because I want to give a different, I want to make sure that I'm having the parts that need to be lighter, lighter, and the parts that I want to be darker, darker with my foundation. Then when I go to do the bronzer and the blush and the concealer, I have everything already kind of in the shape that I'm wanting it. So whenever I place it, look at me, see, somebody said it had an eyelash that was high.
I mean, I can see this does look a little high right here, but compared
But
to
I
this
know,
one,
well,
I can't.
that's why I thought that it was not attached, but it is.
Yeah,
So I think it's the shadow,
me too.
because it's
it
not
doesn't
that,
feel,
it's not that way. Like when you close your eyes,
it
you
doesn't feel anything.
it's nothing. Yeah, I think it's a shadow. Said something about that it was
Yeah.
high, because that's when I said, is that attached? And I checked
Yeah,
it,
definitely
but
is.
it's not attached. I mean, it's attached, it's not any different. I think it's just the way that it is, that it looks because of the light. Okay, so now, first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna use a beauty blender to actually blend it. And I've got a wet and a dry one. I have a love-hate relationship with a wet beauty blender. I know they're supposed to be used wet, but sometimes it blends it out too much. So I like to keep both, and I use dry and I use wet. Oh, you know what we're forgetting?
Okay, I was almost about to say,
You
like,
know what
my
we're
favorite
forgetting?
product, and she was sitting here not using it. I'm like,
This is her favorite product. Well, we have our foundation ready. This product is amazing. Like Tatum's skin, she's been struggling.
I'm very red.
And she stays very red. This is not sunburn. This is just she stays red. And she's been really working on getting this, getting her skin in great shape. And so when she came to me the first time, she was so worried about the redness, and her skin is so much better than it was the first time that we had a session. So I'm going to use the Arborian CC Red Correct. Now this comes out of the tube and it is the automatic perfector smoothing effect, and it also has sunscreen in it. So you're getting double duty with this. And many of my clients, after I've tried this on them, they will actually just buy this. And like if they work in a doctor's office or they don't want to wear something heavy on a daily basis, this is all they need, because this is going to turn into the color of their skin once it's applied. But I'm going to do one side and then do the other side. Make sure I don't need that foundation so they know we're not cheating on this. So it goes on. Turn like straight toward them and I'll get this side. They can see it. So it is green in the tube, as you see it on my hand here. And I'm just using that same 948 brush that I used to do the skin prep. Now this is just the CC cream. And you can already see the difference in this side of her face and that side of her face. It just totally takes away the redness. See the difference? Now look toward me a little bit. And as you see, it's taking away redness. Something that I was thinking about today when I was putting on my own makeup is a lot of people think that if they just put on foundation, this is if they're going to do a full face of makeup, not just something to cover their redness or cover their blemishes, etc. They think, oh, I've put my foundation on and then I'm done. And then their face just looks one solid color. Because foundation, what it does is it's correcting. It is color correcting. It is taking off your, all your flaws, all the discolorations. It's making you have a blank canvas so that you can create what you want to create. So that way you don't have to deal with the redness and all of that. Then you can add what redness. If you want blush, obviously you're going to add color back. But this tones down all of that redness. So then she's got more of a blank slate. But that's one of the biggest misconceptions I feel like with foundations are people wearing makeup and thinking, well, I've got my makeup on. Well, you got your makeup on, but you did not complete it. You just have a solid mask of a color or to take it off. So when you take color out, then you have to put it back on so that you look alive, right? And not dead like a corpse. So, all right, now we're ready for foundations. Let me see. So first I'm putting on her lighter foundation in the middle of her face. And the reason I do that is because sometimes I'll do it and I don't even have to use concealers or I'm going to place it and then I'm going to come back and use the Beauty Blender. Let me give you this to blot your lips off. Put it in there and blot them off. Now they're nice and plump and ready. And it doesn't have any plumping factors, but you would think that it did. So I'm putting this all where I want the lighter shades on her face. And this is the dry Beauty Blender because I want to place it, put it where I want it, and then I can always go back over with the wet Beauty Blender to take off any excess or do any extra blending. This shade is actually called Cashmere, and it's the lighter shade. Then I'm going to come back with the darker shade of foundation, and I'm going to put it where I would want to add some depth. And I'm trying not to, I'm not overlapping a ton. I'm trying to put it where I did not have the other. If you were going to put bronzer on, you would have it here on your cheeks. out on the perimeter of the face. And down onto her neck where she has her white skin from, you can tell where she's tanned here on her neck. And here's one of the most surprising things is when you put on your foundation, even if your ears aren't showing, like when you think that they're going to be showing, your ears are always a different color than your face. They're either red, they're white. You always blend it all the way out here. And you touch your ears with your foundation and even them out. Because even if you have your hair down and long, I don't know how many times I've wanted to tuck my hair behind my ears already while I've been doing this. And then your ear is going to be a totally different color than your face. So you don't want that to happen. And I'm going to take this damp beauty blender and just dab over and get any excess off. Blend up into the hairline. Make sure that you don't see, so that you don't have a mask. Okay. Then I'm going to take a clean 785 brush. I'm just going to kind of pinpoint where I want powder. Where I don't want the extra shine to go.
I feel like most people right now will be using a really big brush.
Yep.
And I learned that the other day when you guys were talking.
Yes,
Makes a lot of sense.
it makes, I mean, because really, I want her cheekbones to still have some highlight, some shine to them. So I just kind of use it and pinpoint exactly where I'm wanting the powder to go. And this was the Stila Correct and Perfect kit. So all of the top, all of these are color correctors that are creams. And then I have a purple and a yellow. I don't know if you can see that purple and a yellow pressed powder in the bottom. So I just used that for that little color correcting palette, and it worked great for that. So next thing we're going to do is contour. And I'm going to cheat, and I'm going to use contour. Something that people don't realize are contour and bronzer are not the same thing. Contour is more of a cool shade, a gray, has more of a gray base to it, because it's going to create the shadows in the face that you've taken away by putting foundation on. So you can use different eyeshadows for this. You can use specific ones that are made for contouring, but bronzer and contour are not the same thing. So I'm gonna do a little bit of the sultry, or the sienna, no, the rustic. I'm gonna do rustic on this and do her a little bit. Actually, I think I'm gonna use the 942 brush for this. And I'm going to place her contour actually below a little bit below her cheekbone with this angled shader brush. I'm going to take it up in her hairline. And depending on your face shape of how you contour, I have, you know, I've got the aging face. I've got the jowls coming down, and I already have a square, kind of a squarish, roundish face. So I contour here because I don't want that to show. She's got a nice tapered face where she doesn't need that. But I also like to take it, if you want to add that, say you want to make your jawline more prominent, you can just take it and go right along the jawline and then blend it down into. But can you see the difference of this side has just added a little bit of the contour. I'll take a little through here, and I'll take a little through here on this other side. But you can see the difference just from that little bit on her face. Now we're going to do the other side. Look straight at me first. I want to make sure you're. Something that a lot of people don't know also, your jaw, you know, no one's face is symmetrical. I don't know if you've seen some of those things on Instagram or before, where it will take celebrities and it will take Kim Kardashian, for example, and take her left side of her face and mirror image it and have both and have it mirror imaged. She doesn't even look right to have exactly the same on both sides. Then they'll take both right sides, put them together, mirror image them. And so everyone's face has imperfections and different things about them that are not symmetrical, that you can actually make those things more symmetrical with makeup. My cheekbones are not level. So whenever I go to do my contour, I have to do them at different levels. So you can figure those things about your own face and know what you need to correct. Do a little bit down her nose. And do a little bit under her bottom lip. It's a little secret that if you do a little bit of darkness under the bottom lip, remember I said earlier that the darkness will push back and the light brings forward. So, okay, you can let your lip down, but it will give a look of fullness to the bottom lip whenever you get it finished, so. Okay, and then the next thing I'm going to use is bronzer. Two totally different things. This is the bronzer by Jouer. This is the Sun Kissed and Sunset, and I love it because it gives you two different options. So depending on, for me, if I don't put self-tanner on and I'm really, really pale and I'm wearing a lighter foundation, then I'm definitely only going to use something like this, because you get too dark and you're going to look muddy and it's going to look the wrong color family. But this is more golden, where the other was more of a cool tone, more of a grayish base. So then I'm going to take this and I'm going to add my bronzer just here at the top of the cheekbone. And this, by the way, this Jouer palette, whenever I first got it, I thought, that doesn't look very dark. I don't know if that's going to do very much to me when I got it out of the kit. This is so pigmented, and it takes just a little bit, but I'm putting it on her upper cheekbone. So bronzer and contour, totally different. Upper cheekbone, and then I kind of blend it underneath her contour on her forehead. Look that way a little bit, so let's see. But I go up, and now I don't put it over here in the center part of her face. Okay, turn this way. Do a little bit on her chin. Bronzer is the one, if I had to have one product that I took with me, if you had to choose only one, it just makes you look alive. It brings all the color back to your face. Gives you that sun-kissed glow. Then I'm gonna add blush. This is the Jouer blush in the Adore Me and the Hold Me. And again, I thought, oh, those aren't gonna be dark enough. They are so pigmented that even though they look pale, they really, and again, my light's so bright, they really do bring the color. I place the blush here kind of up high on the cheek and bring it up. Everything's up for me, especially me. Tatum's still young, but for me, everything's still up. Okay, look straight ahead. If you ever feel like you've got a little too much blush, always just take your beauty blender that you just used and do a little blending. Blend it out. When I place my blush, I like to also take a touch of it, and I always put it somewhere on my nose, like on the tip or the bridge, maybe a little on the chin, and then I will take it, and close your eye, and bring it into my shadow so that it carries the same color throughout, and it just pulls it all together. Okay, trying to decide if I want. See, by doing the two different foundation colors, see how very little concealer and anything she's going to need, and how it just gives the depth, and you've done that with your foundation. Next thing I'm gonna try is I'm gonna put a little bit of concealer for her, the Bodyography concealer. I'm gonna do the L1 for her today. And we're probably just gonna add a touch and I'm gonna use a concealer brush like the one that I used to put on her lip slit, but this is a different one. And this is the 936. She's lucky. She doesn't have a lot of discoloration to her skin, under her eyes, or bags under her eyes. I like to take the concealer, this concealer brush, and then it can give you an instant eye lift by bringing it under the eye and straight up. Try to get it where they can see good, and then I can lessen it off with my blender. Can you see the difference in her two eyes? How this one is more lifted because I've taken the concealer and done it straight up. Then also that's where you can clean off any of that excess under your eye from how I was kind of messy with the powder under her eye to begin with, and then just blend it down. Okay, let's do your other. Thank you. Take the little bit that you've got on under the eye and continue to just pull it straight up. Something that I've been doing on myself lately, that because I don't do a lot of powder or baking. One, because I'm aging and I don't like that. And I don't want to put extra powder under my eyes. Something that I've learned, and now we've got the Gerard setting spray on our page. I'm out of it right now, so I'm going to use the all-nighter that I have here, but I squirt a little bit of the setting spray, tap it on my beauty blender, and instead of using a heavy powder under my eye to set my concealer, I will just use my setting spray on my blender and tap it under. Sometimes I will do a little extra if I see a little area that I want to make sure that they get oily in a certain area. Then for lips today, actually, should we do eyebrows next? Let's do eyebrows next. For the eyebrows, we're going to use the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz. I'm going to do the soft brown. When you do your brows, and Tatum's already got good brows, so hers don't need to be mapped too much. You always make sure that your brows, if you put your pencil beside your nose, come up. That's where they should start. This one does. Yours are just like mine. One of mine does start in the right place, and one of mine needs a little help.
Oh, I can't stand this brow right here.
Everybody has a brow they don't like. Then you go across the pupil, and this is where her peak should be, and hers pretty much is. It's pretty good. Across this pupil. Open your eyes, so see. Straight ahead. See about here. And then your brows should go to the base of your nose, across, and the tail, turn toward me, Ted, should go to where that spot is. So her only thing she needs much of is an added tail. And a lot of people don't have, their brows don't grow out that far. But it just frames the face. So I'm just doing small, tiny strokes because, again, she doesn't need much. Okay, look straight ahead. And you can see we didn't do much, but we just added a little bit of the tail, where this one, you can see if she turns, look toward me a little bit. There's there. So you can see how the tail frames out that eye. And if you go back the other way, this one just needs to come a tad longer, and that would be perfect to frame out her face. Then to set the brows, I've only had the Anastasia. We're sold out of this on our site, but we have the Brow Gal, which is phenomenal. And I think Joseph was going to link Brow Gal if you needed some setting. Brow setting gel. For lips today, we're going to do a trick that I always do for the lips, and I may do it little today, but not too much because we're using a long wear lipstick. but I add a little bit of concealer to your lip. People have always asked me my entire makeup wearing life, how do you get your lipstick to stay on all day? And because I really never have to reapply it unless I've eaten a greasy food or something that would take it off. And I always use either an oil-free foundation or my concealer on my lips, under my lipstick, and then it keeps it intact. So do a little liner. And then I'm going to take 2 different shades of the Galactic matte lip paint. And this stuff, literally, when I swatch it on my hand, it will still be on there. I mean, it does not come off. So when she finishes that corn tonight,
I'll take a selfie for everybody.
Driving the combine, it will still be intact. So I'm going to do 2 different colors. See if you can see this. And I like to do that a lot with lipsticks as well. So I have 2 different shades. This shade is more of a matte shade, and that one is called Spice. Then this one has a little bit of shimmer to it, and that one is called Sahara. So I'm going to do Spice on the outer edge, and I'm going to do Sahara in the center. And what that does is that's going to give her more of a full pout, because everybody wants more lips instead of less lips. We want full lips. This is a new one. It's one of the biggest habits that when you're doing as a makeup artist, when you first start, you have to remember not to double dip in your applicators, because this is, gotta stay clean. Okay. Now we're gonna add actually I had a little bit of that. Something that you can do also, I did it already, but I didn't say it. Go like this, a little bit. So I added the deeper shade in here, a little triangle on this side, and see the center is all that doesn't have the lighter shade. And then I did the same thing here and here. And what that does is it gives you more of a full pout on your lips. So then this is Sahara. It's just a beautiful nude. I thought it was a little too rust in the beginning, but it has really worked so pretty on so many clients. Now, if we would have wanted to not have, you can see how she already has her highlight. I'm not going to add any highlight to it. For this look, if you wanted to be more matte look, you would have just not used any of the Kevyn Aquan Glass Glow underneath, or you could achieve this look same way with a highlighter, which are Becca Highlighters. This is what hooked me on a lot of Becca products in the beginning. And these are on our site and they are hugely already marked down. Plus you get an extra discount. So they're super inexpensive right now. This is the Becca Shimmering Highlighter. So if I wanted to add more, I could go back over here, add it to her high points, but I really don't think that she needs it today. But because the Glass Glow did it from underneath. So that's phenomenal. And then, let's see, any other thing I want to add here? Now, if we were we did this look before. She was attending a wedding and she was wearing a gorgeous gold dress. So say I wanted to up this glam to even elevate it more. You can always take like your shimmery, we took the shimmery bronze gold and I mixed it with my setting spray and we made, you got it. We made a liquid liner and I went along her, close your eye, along her lash line and winged it out. And she had a very thin line of gold on top of her liner, which was really unique. You could also just take this and put it here on your finger, close your eye, and pop it in the center. And then it just totally gives you a little bit of shimmer. Another thing that we've done for her when she's gone somewhere special is you change this more nude lip to a bright red lip and you've got instant glam and it changes your entire look. So last thing I would do would be mist her with setting spray. So when she's done cutting the corn tonight, her makeup will still be intact.
The guys at the farm aren't gonna know who I am.
They're not gonna know who you are they?
Nope.
But that's our final look.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Anne-Marie. We got a couple questions personally DM'd here. So we're just going to jump and show a very brief video about the Blushington Academy program. I'm speaking to Anne-Marie's experience with Blushington, a participant in January. It's just been a remarkable program just to boost the opportunities for anybody who's interested in makeup, for people already experienced in makeup. After the video plays, we'll be highlighting our unique discount code for the evening, and we'll also answer your questions. So feel free to leave any questions that you may have about the makeup process, any recommended products, you can always feel free to leave here as well.
In just 25 hours at the Blushington Academy, you'll be ready to increase your earning potential and become your own beauty boss. Blushington Academy is valuable to self-taught makeup artists and for those that went to school and graduated. Blushington is an incredible place to advance your career.
The Blushington Academy is giving you all the industry secrets, tips, tricks that they know, and they are giving that to you in that 25-hour course. That's priceless.
What surprised me as a new makeup artist was all of the work that went on behind the scenes. The skills I learned at Blushington Academy would have come in handy 10 years ago when I first started my career.
Along with the Blushing Academy, you get your own Blushington kit. The kit is curated by their artists, so you get this amazing kit that you are going to use on every single client. Realistically, what you pay for the course, you're getting in the kit.
When I first saw the kit, I was like, wow.
It's rare to find a makeup academy that provides such luxurious products.
So to turn up our look, let's grab our eyeshadow palettes and look at the color choices that we have. I love this palette. The colors are so vibrant and so beautiful.
You are so overwhelmed with where do I start? Where do I begin? How do I get my name out there? Blushington is behind you and they are going to help you do that. You are a featured certified artist on their website. So if you're in Kansas City, Missouri, people can book you, brides can book you. Having a huge company like Blushington behind you, that is something that when you go to another school, you don't get.
Having a shop-in-shop at Blushington is going to be such a game changer. I'm always recommending wonderful products to my clients, and it's going to be so nice to be able to help them purchase products that I stand behind, and it's going to be nice for me because I'll be able to make a little extra income.
You educate your clients, you use the products on them, and they have an option to buy directly from you from Blushington, so that way that's commission in your pocket. Why did no one else think of this? It's amazing.
The loneliness of the career can really get to you because you're essentially an entrepreneur building a one-person business. But with Blushington, I could create community and rely on them for encouragement and for business matters. I honestly feel that this course is an amazing value.
You'll have a lifetime access to a new group of makeup artists, so you'll always have someone in your corner supporting you and there to answer any questions that you may come across in your career. There are so many things that we have to learn the hard way, especially as freelance artists. Blushington Academy takes away some of the pains of growing.
If you are just starting or if you've been doing it for years like I have, you can never stop learning. If you are getting ready to sign up for the Academy, just know it is just the beginning of your career.
So if you have any questions at all about the Blushington Academy program, we are always here and available. Our virtual door is always open. You can contact us at Blushington or at Blushington Academy on Instagram. And if you want to email us with any inquiries, we are academy@blushington.com. So I have a couple questions here, Anne-Marie. I think before we even jump into things, absolutely glowing. I'm always so impressed, especially when it comes to Zoom, when the makeup really shines through because it's so hard being on a digital platform, but that's sort of, the benefit that we have here. Would we see each other in person? I don't exactly know. So I can't thank you enough for just being able to connect with us online. So now that we have a couple questions, the first one was, how far up should I bring the bronzer? Right up underneath the eye, or is that too far?
I think it depends on your actual client's face and where they actually need the color. For her, we did, the contour here, and I just knew that this is where she would naturally get her sunlight and get the get color to her face. So I wanted to just go where you naturally get the color to your face. So I just kind of let the client's face kind of lead me where I place it. I've seen some makeup artists that I follow that do all kinds of celebrities, and they'll go all the way up under their eye. But for me, I kind of stop a little bit of where, and of course, I do the bronzer first. I don't know if you noticed that before I did my concealer, because I do want to make sure that she has still the brightness under her eye. So sometimes that will actually, if you do what I did and then kind of give her the lift with the concealer, then that takes your any bronzer that's under your eye too far, it would take it away. Did that answer?
I think it was a very satisfying answer. We also have somebody who asked, I add blush first before bronzer. Is that a bad thing?
I don't think that it's a bad thing, but this time period right now, everything goes in trends and fads, and some trends stay and they're constant, but right now blush is the thing.
I used to never wear blush.
Right.
And I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of gone through a phase. Used to, when I was growing up, I never knew anything about bronzer. I only had blush. Then it was all about bronzer, all about contour. But now blush has made a recurrence, and like lots of people use cream blushes, and blush is definitely on trend and on point, and so you want to see it. So I feel like if you put the bronzer on after the blush, you're kind of going to mute that out. Now, if that's what you want, if you don't want to, like if your blush is more rosy than what you would need it, and you want to kind of mute that out and make it a little more into the color of your bronzer, then you can do that. But I want my blush to show now because it's on point with trend and the trends in the makeup world right now. Ooh, I love that glow when you turn down and look right there. Yes, honey.
I am glowing, and I'm not pregnant.
This is kind of a funny question. Are there any color combos I should stray from, in your personal opinion?
Well, it depends on your coloring, actually. A lot of people that have brown eyes, you can do pretty much anything on them. If you're talking about color combos on shadows, you can do anything and it looks good. Even blues on their eyes and it looks amazing. I think you kind of just have to go on what looks good on your client. For me, I feel like the colors that I used, I focus on those a lot, on my green eyed girls. Also the orange tones, things like that really make blue eyes pop. You know, there's really no rules in makeup. It depends. If you live in an area where you can get away with more of an editorial look and you can go for some crazy cut creases and fun things like that, girl, you do you. Because I don't get that option very often. But one of these days I'm gonna have Tatum come over and we're just gonna play with some craziness.
Maybe Halloween.
Yeah, maybe Halloween, because we don't get that opportunity. People would think we were very
Crazy.
strange where we live. But I guess there's really no set rules. It's kind of, you know, whatever makes you feel beautiful is the most important. So
I love that. Thank you so much. And that was actually all of our questions for the evening. So, I mean, it's been a tremendous pleasure. For everybody who is monitoring the chat, we just dropped the discount code, which is AnnMarie10. That's ANNMARIE10. You will get 10% off of all product purchases made today, and the code does exist after this class wraps. We also do send out a post-class email within the next 24 hours, which will have a recording of this masterclass as well as the code information detailed there. You can follow Anne-Marie on Instagram at artistry. I want to get it right. Artistry by Anne-Marie. And again, there will be a 24-hour email sent out just detailing all of that great information. So it is with great pleasure that we had you join the platform, Anne-Marie. If anybody wants to shop the full link, the link is also here in the chat as well. You don't have to click individually. It will direct you right to a full shopping cart of all the products that she used here today. And it will sync you to shop with her online profile with Blushington. So I think, you know, Anne-Marie, we've spoken about this. It's sort of like supporting a small independent business where you'll be directly shopping with Anne-Marie. So if you have any questions about anything that was used today, definitely feel free to DM us at Blushington and at Blushington Academy. We definitely encourage you to go follow Anne-Marie for more artistry tips and tricks. And I will let you have the sign off, Anne-Marie, but thank you so, so much from us at Blushington. It's just always a tremendous experience to have you.
So much. And don't forget any of those Becca products, they're already massively reduced, plus you get the 10% off of it. So that's a huge deal. And if you ever have any questions, DM me on Instagram. I'm an open book. So
perfect.
Thank you.
All right. Everybody have a wonderful evening, and we'll see each other soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.